Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the New School. My name is Karen Coney. I'm the director of the Verlis Centre for Art and Politics here at the New School, and honoured and delighted to present to you tonight the first of our spring Public Art Fund talks at the New School with Martin Creed. Before we turn to Martin, allow me to point out a few features about this space in which we find ourselves. The architect of this oldest building of the New School campus was Austrian architect Joseph Urban. It was built in 1931 and is one of the historic monuments of modernism in New York City. The room has been compared to a womb, an egg, or a spaceship, and depending on who the Public Art Fund brings to us, it feels like any one of them. For tonight, it might be of interest and relevance to remember that this is also the site where a number of performances by Martha Graham were presented, the preeminent American modernist dancer and choreographer. Graham taught at the New School for many years and had her egg-shaped, womb-like rehearsal and practice room and classroom just below this auditorium, deep down in the basements, the bowel of the building. This is where she created Appalachian Spring in 1944, together with her New School pal Aaron Copland, and a sculpture by Isamu Noguchi, created as a prop for that ballet, is actually presented and installed just outside the lecture room. I mention this intersection of art, performance, music, and dance because with Martin Creed tonight, I believe we will witness something similarly complex. Among the numerous attributes his work has garnered, ranging from generous to interdisciplinary, visionary, interactive, I personally have most admired the work for the fact that it is so keenly attuned to the conditions in which it is presented, whether that is the hollow white cube that he fills with hollow balloons, or whether it is a soothing predicament such as Everything is Going to Be All Right, originally developed for the site of a former orphan asylum in London. I'd like to thank the Public Art Fund for collaborating with us on their exceptional series of Public Art Fund talks at the New School, in particular Director and Chief Curator Nicholas Bohm and Associate Curator Andrea Hickey. At the New School, my most sincerest thanks go to Pamela Tillis, Director of Public Programs, and to the members of the Verlis Centre Advisory Committee. And just a quick note on ongoing programs at the Verlis Centre on Saturday. This Saturday, we're continuing with a panel discussion on the repercussions of academic and cultural boycotts. But now, thank you all for coming. Thank you to Martin Creed, and he will now be introduced by Andrea Hickey, the Associate Curator of the Public Art Fund. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. We're lucky we don't have a snowstorm tonight or an Arctic current or whatever they're calling it. And thank you, Karen, for that great introduction. This is the first in our spring season of talks that Karen mentioned, and every season we host a series of talks in collaboration with the Verlis that invites artists to talk about their work in relationship to issues in the public realm. Our next talk is with Tatiana Trouvé on March 2nd on the occasion of her new site-specific work for Doris Friedman Plaza, which is called Desire Lines, and will be installed at the entrance of Central Park on 60th and 5th. I hope you will mark your calendars and join us back here again that evening. Tonight, I'm very much looking forward to introducing Martin Creed, his artist talk, which I think promises to be unlike any that we've seen here, at least in recent years. Martin is one of Great Britain's most celebrated artists. His work defies categorization. He's worked in an incredibly wide array of media, from sculpture, painting, choreography, and music, some of which we'll have the opportunity to experience tonight. Martin has continuously created works that not only deal with site and subject, but also intrigue and engage the public with objects and situations that are both inspiring and surprising. In 2001, Martin won the Turner Prize with a work installed in an empty room entitled The Lights Going On and Off, which was exactly as the title suggests. More recently, during the 2012 London Olympics, his work number 1197, All the Bells in a Country Rung as Quickly and Loudly as Possible for 3 minutes, included the participation of thousands across the United Kingdom who celebrated the Olympics with 3 minutes of bell ringing. These are just a few of Martin's conceptual works that have captivated audiences in the public realm and in gallery spaces. So we're very lucky tonight to have Martin here. Just a little overview on his recent exhibitions. Martin, of course, lives and works in London. His solo exhibitions have been presented at the Hayward Gallery, the Tate Britain, the Andy Warhol Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago, MAMAC in France, and the Moscow Museum of Modern Art. He was the recipient of the Turner Prize in 2001. He's also an accomplished musician and has released several albums, including Mind Trap, Chicago, Love to You, Die, and Thinking Not Thinking. Martin is represented by Hauser Wirth in Los Angeles, Gavin Brown's Enterprise in New York, and Johnen Galerie in Berlin. Please join me in welcoming Martin Creed.
Thanks a lot. I'm here because I got asked to be here, and I said yes. I find it difficult to say no to things, but I didn't want to say no because I did want to come here, because I think it's good to get out of the house. It's healthy, you know, and so it's very nice to be here. But I feel like I feel weird because I feel like I have to try to say something. But I also feel happy about that because I like talking. Although I don't really like the sound of my own voice, although I think sometimes I do like it. But I like to say that I don't like it because I feel better, about that. To say that. I'm trying out this thing. I bought this. It's a box on the floor. It doesn't have to be on the floor. It could be on a table, but it's better on the floor because it's got pedals and it's a box to make things repeat. I'm here because I got asked to be here, and I said yes. I find it difficult to say no to things, but I didn't want to say no because I did want to come here.
This is just something I'm trying out. I think
it's good to get out of the house. But I thought it might be it's healthy, you know. So it's very nice to be here.
But it's definitely weird.
But I feel
I don't know. I like it.
I feel weird because I feel like I have to try to say something. But I also feel happy about that because I like talking. Although I don't really like the sound of my own voice, although I think sometimes I do like it. I like to say that I don't like it because I feel better, about that.
God, I don't
to say that.
I hate monologues. I think monologues
I'm trying
are really
out this
difficult
thing
because I got this.
You have to try to.
I bought this
it's much easier to react to things, I think,
It doesn't have
than
to
it
be on
is
the floor. It could be
to
on a table,
speak,
but
without.
it's better on the floor because it's got pedals and
like off the cuff,
and, it's a box to make things repeat.
So I think that I'm
in
here
fuck's sake.
because I get asked to be here, and I said yes.
I don't know if silence is better than that, but goes on like that. Aye, but words are, I think words are difficult, difficult to use because, well, not difficult to use, quite easy to use, but difficult to, I think it's difficult to make words match up to feelings, and that's why words are difficult. But I feel like I remember when I used to go home from art school during the holidays to see my mum and dad, and they'd always ask me, "Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?" And I would try to tell them why I was doing it. And then I'd go back to art school, and then at art school, people were always asking you, why are you doing that, and then I was thinking, oh yeah, but why am I doing that, And then I wanted to know why I was doing it. But partly, just to answer the question, and I think that so I don't know. Maybe I don't know if talking about things it really helps that much, but I feel like I feel like, well, I don't know really what I feel like, But that song, the one that I just played with the lyrics, "Be Natural," I was trying to come up with words that matched up to music, and I feel like it's really difficult to make words, because if music's like feelings, like a blobby, something that's difficult to pin down, and explain, then and words which have a meaning and seem like they have a meaning, it's hard to put the two things together. And in that song, I was trying to put them together, but. But I feel like feelings are the most important things, because I feel like my life is ruled by feelings, and I think I always try. I would like to try and make something that rhymed with my feelings, you know. But I don't feel like it's. Well, I don't really know how possible it is, because I think you can't, you know, because you cannot see feelings, you know, and you can't draw a line round them. So I try, well, because of feeling strongly about feelings, I tried to write a song. I thought I should try to write a song putting down my feelings on paper. But I think, you know, well, I don't really trust my feelings, you know, because it seems like feelings often lead, you know, instinctive feelings often seem like it's like a sort of prejudice or something like that, you know. And I feel I often change my mind later, you know, about things. So I think it's difficult to write down your feelings, you know, because the words never really seem to match up. And so I wrote this song where I tried to write down the exact opposite of the way I was feeling, or the way I thought I was feeling, you know, and hoping that maybe if I wrote down the opposite of the way I felt, you know, maybe it would be closer to how I really felt. And so this is a song, it's called I Like Things. Liking things, yeah. Hey, so I brought some slides. I didn't bring them, that's the internet, but there are some slides, but they're not slides, they're, you know, they're photos, whatever. But, and that's a photo of a thing I made. It's that thing there. And it's a protrusion from the wall. And I made that after, when I was at art school, as I was trying to say earlier that I wanted, like I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, you know, so I couldn't answer the question, what are you doing, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was doing paintings. I went to art school after school, and where I was doing, you know, like still lives and drawings of people, you know, life drawings, and I was doing like drawings and paintings like kind of artists that I liked, you know. When I was a teenager, I was into kind of like, when I get into art, or what's called art, is it was like Gustav Klimt and Egon Schiele, and then I get into Cézanne and Picasso and stuff, and I was doing these paintings were a bit like, they were like paintings like these artists that I liked, using colours, you know, that I liked, you know, and And when I got to art school, I remember thinking, oh, I don't know, I like painting's just like kind of waving your arms around, And I didn't, it's hard to like pin it down. And then I was thinking, oh yeah, but also the only reason I'm painting is because I'm in a painting department at art school, And maybe because I liked these paintings, that I'd seen, but I didn't. But I thought about, and I started thinking it's not good to start doing something, to decide beforehand, what you're going to do. Like so, because to decide to make a painting, that's like a prejudgment, And so that's like a form of prejudice, So I thought, oh yeah, I shouldn't do that. I should try to make something without deciding beforehand what it is, And so I tried to clear everything and start without knowing what I was going to do, So I thought, I started wondering why, because I was looking for a starting point, and so I thought, what am I? What is it that I? What kind of a thing, is it that I'm trying to make? And I came up with the answer that now I feel embarrassed to tell you, because it seems very flawed to me, but I came up with the answer that what I'm doing is trying to make something to look at, I want to make a thing to look at. But now I think, oh yeah, but why didn't I do, why didn't I include, something to listen to or smell or whatever, But maybe it's because even though I was thinking painting is prejudice, I was thinking, oh yeah, but I suppose I was studying fine visual art, or whatever. So so it feels like to me now that it's still like playing the game, trying to play the game, because I think that's what, I feel like in any given situation, everyone, well, me, which is the only person that I really know, although I don't feel like I know him very well, but. It always feels like you're trying to play the game, And it doesn't matter whether you're doing an art exhibition or going through security, at the airport. It's like, what kind of answer is the right answer, But I suppose I was thinking about that because they always ask you those questions, like you're travelling with someone else, and all that, and I always feel, I don't know. But I thought I'll try. Okay, I'm trying to make something to look at, So then I thought, how can I, how is it possible to come up with something? I need a way to try and make a decision. And then I thought maybe, I thought maybe if I decide where the thing's going to go first, that might help me to come up with, that might help me decide what it is I want to make, And I thought, oh yeah, well maybe if the thing I make is on the wall, that would be good because people's eyes face out their heads like that, and so it's easy to see things when they're on the wall, So I thought, yeah, that's great. That's a good decision, That's a good decision. I was happy with that. I'll make something for the wall, And then I was thinking, but what can I make? I don't know what I want to do, and there's no material. There seemed like no material that could. That would do, because I didn't know what it was I wanted, So I thought, oh yeah, but surely I could just use the same material as the wall, you know. And so then I started thinking, right, that's great, you know, I'll make something with the material of the wall, you know, so what could I make, you know, what kind of shape could I make with the wall? And the first one I came up with was kind of like, you know, which I thought was the most pure thing to make, was basically a work that was basically flat, you know, like with the wall, you know, like made from the same material as the wall and painted the same colour as the wall, you know. And but then I thought, no, you know, because then no one will know that I've done anything, you know. And but so then I thought, no, it's got to be, I've got to try and make it obvious that something has happened. And so then I started thinking of building something out from the wall, you know. And but coming like straight out seemed too abrupt to me, you know, making something that just came out, straight out, seemed very, I don't know what the right word is, it's not abrupt, but it's like abrupt. But, you know, because I think making decisions is always like making a cut, you know, like it's like you know, like drawing a line, you know, and you know, and it seems to me very difficult to draw the line because the world is all, you know, it seems to me like the world's all blobby and joined together, you know, in my experience of it. So drawing lines between things is like really artificial, you know, and fake, basically. And so it doesn't. So a drawing, you know, which has to draw the line, is never going to match up to real life, you know. And so I tried to. I decided to try and make this shape like coming out from the wall at a tangent, you know. So the line between the work and the wall is not definite, you know. It's gradual. It goes gradually from the wall into the thing sticking out of the wall, and that shape it was like a curve coming up like that. Basically, this kind of bell shape. And I had it happen in a circle, so it was equal in all directions, and I guess that's really what made it a bell shape. And then I had to decide on the size, because I designed the shape and the fact that it would be made of the same material as the wall. And then the final thing I had to decide was how big to make this thing, and it was important that you could paint over it, you know, because I want the surface needs to be the same as the wall surface, and so I made sure that the curve in there was just a bit bigger than a painting roller, so you know, so it was easy to paint over. So I made that and but I think the thing that troubled me about that after I made it was partly that it was just in one place, you know. So having to choose one place for a work seemed also wrong, you know, because why is that better than, you know, that wall better than that wall or whatever, you know, what's the reason for that, you know, other than just, oh yeah, because it's, you know, it's nice there, you know. Because it's hard to measure that, you know, and so I think that I think that's how I get into. I think this work. This is a gallery that was half filled with balloons, and this came about in a similar kind of a way of like trying to start like from nothing, you know, and make something. and thinking, all right, like what materials could I use, and how's it possible to choose any materials, but I think especially this work as well, thinking where, maybe instead of trying to make one thing that goes in one place, because that just, like I say, I feel like that's too difficult to decide, to commit yourself to one thing in one place. Maybe it's possible to make something that's more kind of like everywhere, and so, and I was thinking, like everywhere there is air, Every time you go to a gallery, it's always full of air, and it's a useful material, so I thought I'll try and, so I was working for ages trying to figure out a way of using air, and the first idea I had was to make one massive balloon that would fill the whole room, and but then I thought that was impractical because, it would have to, because rooms are always different sizes, or often different sizes, and so you would have to make that every time you displayed the work, and so then I thought, maybe just smaller balloons, these kind of party balloons, and an idea being that the balloons would just go wherever, so the shape of the work, it just takes on the shape of the room and the shape of the people who go through it, and so it's not like choosing one place really, apart from the room. It's and this room, this is half. It's like it fills half the volume of the space, and the reason for that is, it's partly to allow people to go in there, because they wouldn't be able to get in if it was completely filled, and also I think often in works like that, I was trying to balance what I was doing. I was thinking everything I do, I must try to undo, because I'm not sure about what I'm doing, and therefore, I must try to do the equal and opposite. So a lot of these works like that are like half empty, half full, or whatever, and. Another one I think that's a bit like that is this this one with the lights going on and off. And that was all. This came in the same line, really, of trying to think of. How to do something, that didn't make a cut in the world, but just used what was there, and didn't introduce a new material, because I felt like there's nothing I could, because like having an exhibition is like saying, hey, look at this, isn't it great, and if there's nothing that you really believe is that great. What can you put in that room, So then I was thinking, but maybe I should try and just do something like with the room, And the only thing that I really thought I could play around with, was the lighting, I've always liked switching lights on and off. But thinking about this work, the lights going on and off, it's part of this. If you compare that to a painting, I'm just thinking about that. This, I wasn't really. I don't think I was thinking about this when I made this, but I'm thinking about it now, and I was thinking about it last year as well. but this was made quite a few years ago, and I don't think I was thinking about this then. But it's possible to describe this work, using words, and it's possible to describe it exactly using words. The light's going on and off for 5 seconds in that room, and and that's a weird, rare thing. It's very, visual. Like a painting is very difficult to describe using words. It depends what kind of painting, but I feel like that was important to me. I feel like I was trying maybe to make work, that I basically could explain, using words, because everyone was saying, why are you doing that? At art school and at home, And so I felt I've got to explain myself, so I must make work that I can explain, as I just have been trying to do, And but I feel now, thinking about it, that maybe it was really, made for that, so that, and maybe. But it's nice to be able to carry things around in your head like words, they don't degrade like cheese, That's a bad example. Roads. I just don't know what I'm looking for here. Because I feel like this wall protrusion thing that I was showing you. Oh yeah, I made two, because everyone said it looked like a breast, And so then, because everyone was saying it looks like a breast, so I made two of them. And I was thinking then, that got me to thinking that what you put what you put into a work is not necessarily what people get out of it, and because I'd gone through this I'd gone through this process, or what I thought I was going through, to make that, and I didn't think I was trying to make a breast, but I obviously must have been, but but anyways, I was troubled by, I think I was troubled by the fact that I'd gone through this kind of process, and then I was left with this thing that really seemingly had nothing to do, that didn't really show you what had happened, and it was, I think it was because of thinking about that's what got me into trying to do music, because I thought maybe, something like the lights going on and off, or, trying to do work that happens in front of your eyes, so then you can see it getting made, like a song or whatever. And these but recently, just recently, I've been trying to do paintings again, because I felt, because I think doing these installations that are, the thing about doing installations that, where the whole room is part of the work, is that it's difficult to draw the line you know, like if we you know, how, like do you stop at the door of the room, you know, or do you go outside the room, you know? And so, and I feel like doing installations that are kind of taking over the whole space has, you know, it was driving me mad, you know, and so recently I've been thinking of trying to, you know, basically thinking I cannot control the whole world, you know, and you know, only, you know, just small parts of the world. And you know, there's a limit to what. So, and I feel like if you try and control the whole world, you know, you're just always gonna fail. You know. So I thought maybe I can narrow it down, you know, to and if you draw a line and say, all right, inside that line, inside that square or rectangle, you know, I'm inside that. I'm going to try and, you know, do things, you know, and not worry about the bit outside of that, you know. And so, I think that's, you know, what I've been trying to do lately. But she's here because she's here, called Alexandra, and I met her today. And but it was a planned meeting, you know, because I asked if I could find a dancer and to come. I asked the Public Art Fund, who invited me to come, and if it'd be possible to work with a dancer. And the reason is that, you know, I don't know why I feel like I need to try and say what the reason is, you know, but that must be the way that I think, you know, and even if I don't like it, the reason is that I got to thinking that if, you know, as I was trying to analyze my work, which I try to do, you know, because I want to make it better. And I was thinking, right, what can I do? What could I do that's, you know, that's more true to the world, you know, that I find myself in? And I was thinking, oh yeah, well, like everything I'm doing, all these paintings and sculptures and everything, you know, always involves me moving my body. Before, you know, to make a painting, you have to move your arms around or whatever, you know. Make a phone call, you have to move, you know. So I thought, oh yeah, I should forget about making a thing and just use, you know, I should work on doing something with the body, you know, with humans moving, you know, and and I got into the first thing I did was this thing. That's the wrong way. Fuck, I don't know where it is. I don't, in a way, I can just tell you what it is. I don't even have to show you a photo. Oh, there. It's, so it's with people running, because I thought if I'm going to do things with people moving, you know, I should try and make it really obvious that they're moving, you know, and have them moving really fast. So I found kind of sprinters, and I had them sprinting through the gallery. This was at the Tate in London, and and that was good because, you know, because often, you know, people don't really run in galleries, you know, so it was a gallery was a good place to, you know, exhibit that work, you know. But, so, and then anyway, doing that, I got in. But after doing that with people moving really fast, I thought I kind of get into looking into other ways that people move, you know, and I got into trying I was looking into ballet, you know, and the language of ballet to try and understand it. And I'm gonna let's do a piece, the one with the positions. So this is a dance that tries to use the. I tried to learn about ballet, and I found out there's basically these 5 basic positions, and I thought, I don't know, but I don't know which ones to use, so I should try to use them all equally, and then I wanted to try and put music with it, but so to try and make the music match up, there's one note or one chord with each position. So we're going to do this dance. I'm going to play the music, and there's one chord for each position. This one doesn't use ballet moves. It just tries to go like from crouched way down to standing like way up. I'll play a song with it. I got myself into a mind trap, and now I'm looking for a mind trap map. I got myself into a mind trap, and now I'm looking for a mind trap map. I can't get out of this mind crap. I'm looking for a mind crap gap. Left and right and up, down and round and back, through and across and along. Bit by bit by bit, I got myself into a mind trap, and now I'm looking for a mind trap map. I can't get out of this mind crap. I'm looking for a mind crap gap. Hey, but if anyone's got any questions, if there's anything I've missed, feel free to ask, because it's much easier to answer questions than it is to do whatever the opposite of answering questions is. If you're feeling bad and your thoughts are sad, pass them on to someone else. Pass them on, pass them on, pass them on, pass them on. Pass your bad feelings on, pass them on. Pass them on, pass them on, pass them on, pass them on. To someone else, like a friend or a relative, like a friend or a relative. Like a friend. Hey! Good one. Hi. I don't know what to do. But,
I have a question in the front.
oh yeah.
Just to get started, thank you so much, Martin. That was really amazing. And everybody, we're recording the talk for our website, so if you do have a question, make sure that you raise your hand and somebody will run and bring you a microphone. So I have a question. A lot of the works that you're making using scores, there's this interesting element of chance that we kind of talked about a little bit today, especially thinking about work in public space, because so much is left to the audience in terms of, giving them agency and how they're interpreting the work. But you also give a lot of agency to the people who enact the works. And how do you feel about chance or relieving, the responsibility of how the work actually functions in the end? It's a big question. Sorry.
Well, I think it's a matter, I think one has to accept that, that you cannot control the world, And so, you have to accept that other people are in the world and but also, and work with them, Well, because if you don't want them to hate you, which I don't, but kind of like within that, or as part of that, I think it's a matter of trying to accept yourself, yourself who is a stranger, in I feel like one is a stranger in one's own world, like who's, and you need to accept yourself, like who's this guy, welcome him, or in.
Yeah, you also said something interesting earlier today about whether or not you're asking people to participate in a work. It's rather that you want everyone to be free if they want to participate. Or I'm talking about the wonderful Olympic, all the bells in the city rung as one, which is an interesting public piece because it did involve so much participation. But
well, I felt weird about that when I did it because I didn't want, it was this piece with all the bells ringing, and the only way to do it was to, see if people would take part to ring bells, because the idea was to ring all the bells in the whole country, and But basically, you know, I would have preferred to have been able to pay people to ring bells. You know, I didn't want to go asking people to do something, you know, for nothing. And I felt weird about that. You know, so like because one of the things I like about going to art galleries is is basically feeling free. You know, to just like wander in and out, and that's what's different about this situation. You know, is you know, because you know, because. You know, when there's seats and it's all more closed in, you know. So, gallery's very nice and freely moving. Well, most of the time, I don't really like works you have to queue to get into. You know, like installation rooms. But I especially don't like shoes where you have to shoes. I don't like shows where you have to take your shoes off. You know, I hate that.
Wait.
No, because I like to keep my shoes on, and you know, and I like feeling. It's nice to be free, to feel free, you know. So if I would hate it if I felt like I was asking people to not be free, you know. And so when I was trying to do the bells thing, is you know, which involved participation and. I found that difficult to like do. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I saw your show at the Hayward, and I didn't have to queue, but I made it in the morning. So when I went through it, I felt that you know you make the world you know somewhat of a better place because I think it's in contradiction to so much of how we have to put our heads through a bit of yoga to understand some work, and then you bring it back down. You bring it back down to some kind of essential, and there's humor in it, and I enjoy that. But I was really taken by your comment. I think of the world as a blobby place where everything's interconnected. I have a quote.
Yeah, right.
What does it look like for you? What does the world look like for you as this interconnected place?
Well, I just think I cannot separate my feelings from what I see and from the way I feel, you know. And when you're just like, you know, when I look at a painting on a wall, you know, I cannot see the painting without the wall next to it. So effectively, you know, there's no single, you know, there's nothing that is separate in the work, you know, you're always, and then, you know, if you're looking at that painting, you know, on that wall with that wallpaper or that person next to you, you know, or that morning, you know, behind you or whatever, or that headache inside you or whatever, you know, the way if you can't, and so I feel like, you know, you can't separate feelings and thought from thoughts. I mean, I think that thoughts are you know, feelings are coming up all the time. So I feel like all I'm doing when I work is trying to, you know, and I think the feelings are actually predominantly bad. Well, or maybe it's just I notice the bad ones more, but I feel like I work because I want to feel better. You know, I feel bad, like, and I want to feel better. So I want to look at nice colours or, you know, see something exciting or whatever. And that's so working is trying to deal with these feelings that come up that are basically like bad or bored, you know, or like, oh fuck, you know, like, why does it always have to be, you know, like that? Like, so why don't try just making it like that, you know, instead of, you know.
Well,
so it's like just so it's like so the thoughts or whatever are like trying to react to the feelings and make.
Well, I think there's something. I'm not going to talk too much, but there's something about there's a beauty in a studio when you're sitting in the studio and you're having fun. And you're experimenting, and the box could be on the floor or it could be on a table. And there's this sense of timelessness, but it's kind of real time. Then there's a joy. And then when you have to put it on a wall, then that makes it a little bit more difficult, I think, sometimes. So you capture this. That's what I saw in your show in London.
Aye.
You capture that?
Aye, well, but it makes me think that because I don't really trust myself in in the studio. I feel like I need to go in. I need to work in the world. Because I don't trust. I feel like when you're in your own world, when you're in your own space at home, you kind of control everything. And so I feel like I need to go out into the world to work. And then there's a guy there with the microphone.
I'm a guy with a microphone, yes.
Yeah.
I've always loved your work that's on the exterior of Gavin Brown's gallery. If I remember the text exactly, it says, "The whole world plus the work equals the whole world."
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
I've always wondered, that's all I wanted to know, thanks. I've always wondered whether you think of that as an expression of futility, that your work does not change the world, or whether you think of it as the world is big enough to take my work and it doesn't change the world, but that's fine, or neither?
Neither, really. I felt like I'm just looking for it to see if I can find a photo. Damn, what number is it? Do you know the number? Is it? Oh, thanks. But I do numbers because, I don't like, anyway. I feel like, I don't want to give words to everything. But, so I thought the numbers were a better way of, so you don't have to have titles, if you've got numbers. But I just, this came about because I was asked to do, I was applying for an art competition in England, and they wanted an artist statement, and I wrote that as the artist statement, late. So I was I sat down and tried to describe my work, that I'd been doing, and I started with the work, and then I thought, like, so what else, and it's just, so it was just I was just trying to describe the reality, and because that's the thing that I was trying to describe earlier, that I think the most difficult thing is, and the most brutal thing, is to make cuts in the world and say, all right, that bit there, is different and special or whatever, which is basically what you're doing when you make any kind of composition or separation off of stuff from the rest of the world, or frame or whatever, and that's really brutal, I think, because it cuts through the continuum, the natural continuum, of like ideas and feelings and thoughts, So it's very brutal, and I think that whatever you do, you cannot, everything, the world, is a, just a, it's like an infinite sea. You can throw anything into it, and you might watch it. It might take a while to sink, but eventually it will sink, and it will be, subsumed in the rest of the world, And even though you kind of know, that it's in there, and so maybe I'm coming down more on the negative side of that. Sorry. Maybe I'd come down more on the negative side. I'm not surprised. Well, because I think happiness is probably more. I don't know. For me, it might be more difficult to than sadness.
Hi. Over here.
Sorry, it's not a directional.
Go ahead. My question was, what do you fear other than your book?
I'm just scared of everything, really.
Everything.
Aye. I think it's difficult. You can't distinguish between things. But I hate decisions. You know?
Sure, thank you.
Like, aye. But,
Hi, thank you for
Hi.
tonight. I
Hi.
wasn't really a fan of your work, but I wasn't aware of the conceptual performance art part.
all right.
But I wanted to say that your show at Gavin Brown and at Hauser Wirth were both so smart and beautiful, and the installations were extraordinary. So I was wondering if you wanted to say anything about that work or your experience or the shows and what kind of work you're doing now. I don't know if you have any visuals of that.
Well, I can. Recently, like that show at Gavin Brown's Enterprise in Hauser Wirth here was, I tried to approach it in a kind of live way that is that because I think that show is basically it's like a theatre. It's not really different from this situation, you know. An art exhibition basically is a live experience, you know. Always doesn't matter it doesn't matter whether the works are static, because the people are living and breathing and moving around, and so that the combination of the works plus the people is like a live experience, you know. If anyone goes to see it, and so, you know, and that's not different from this. It's just that in this situation, you know, you're sitting down and I'm kind of moving around, whereas in an art exhibition, it'd be more like, you know, you'd be, or people are moving around and the stuff's more or less staying still, you know, and so it's, and then there's a difference of lighting or whatever, you know, but you know, it's basically a live show, and it lasts for, you know, 1 month instead of 3 hours or whatever, or an hour and a half. Fuck's sake. Yeah.
I was actually, yeah, that's a good point. But I was actually asking you also about the nature of the work in that show.
Aye.
And what kind of sculpture you're making now or interested in, or
yeah,
what you took from that show. Or, yeah.
Well, so I mean, but so I approached that show with because like to go back to the live show thing. Often, if I plan what I'm going to do, like tonight, like if I plan what I'm going to say, and I've tried that, and I planned this a bit, but I tried not to plan it too much because I often just feel fake, you know, right, reading out lines or whatever, you know. So I try to more or less make it up, you know, with a few things like backup, like songs that I know or whatever, you know, in the dance thing, you know. So if I've got a wee bit of a few things to hang on to, plus then I can go out there and do more or less make it up, you know, or see what happens. So I take the same approach to the art exhibition, the visual work exhibitions, like the New York shows that you're talking about. So I had a backup plan of lots of work that I'd been working on, and then I came to New York and then did loads of work here, like just in the week before the show, and you know, so then and so that's a bit of an approach that I've been taking lately to basically just try and make it all up, like the more or less on the spot, but because then I feel like then it's more, you know, because it's more, you know, because you're there, because you're really, you know, like planning things in advance is. I hate it, you know, like you can't know what's going to happen in the future, you know. And that's the reason why I suppose so many people just work right to the deadline, because they don't work until it's real, you know. So I try and take that approach, but you know, so that's what happened. But although there was a lot of work that was actually planned, you know, but you know, you have to have a backup plan.
I mean, that you did in your studio.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't really have a. Well, yeah, but I don't really have a. I don't like having a studio. Because I feel like studio, because I think like working is like trying to direct steam that comes out of you, And so there's this stuff builds up, and then you try and direct it in the most, elegant way. Is I think the way to try and make work. But so oftentimes, if you direct that steam in the studio, and then the studio fills with steam, and then it's like, oh fuck, now I've got to like collect all the bloody steam, and then it's just actually impossible to do because it's just condensation on the walls and ceiling, and then you got to do. It's like you have to do the work all over again, in the world. So then I think, oh fuck, you may as well just make the work in the world,
Martin, I think we have time for a couple more questions.
I just wanted to say congratulations. You really are keeping it refreshingly real.
All right,
You're
thanks
doing
a lot.
I have a question about, I think, blobbing or cutting. So when you are working with a score, like a movement piece, and for example, today you used a dancer, can you define what cutting is? Like, are you saying that this person is a dancer, which is very beautiful, by the way, thank you, and they are in our place? Are they defined as a different thing? And is that cutting, or are they a blob connected to our blob? I guess what I'm trying to say is, can you expand a little bit on separation and togetherness?
Aye, well, but that's up to you. But I think, but I would see it that it's like a cut is any sort of decision, or that one that is kind of overlaid onto the world, like dividing things up, So I suppose, and that's the problem with words, is that they cut things up, because a word, it's like, like, that's you, and, and but if I didn't say that, it might not, you might not have thought that you're different. Or whatever. Now I feel like I'm making it up.
Oh yeah, here, very close.
Hey.
Hi. Just wondering if you like art. Do you like art?
I like what is. I like.
Sorry.
Well, I don't know what art is, so it's difficult to answer that. But I like what is commonly referred to as art. Because, and I think that's why I studied art, because I like it. Because, because I feel like it's not defined it's not a well-defined area, and that's why it's good, So, like, it felt to me like fine art could encompass pretty much everything, whereas other subjects that friends of mine were studying or whatever, they seemed like quite defined and, conventional or whatever. Maybe I'll just do that. Is that the end, actually?
Yeah, sing us a song, and then we'll go home. Thanks.
I'm the one for you. I'm your two. You're the one for me. You're my three. We make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You make me laugh. You make me cry. You make me try. You make me sigh. You make me lie. You make me buy. You're sign. You're my time. You're my rhyme. You're my 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You make me talk. You make me think. You make me smoke. You make me drink. You're like depth. You're like height. You're like light. You're like sight. You help me see. You make me free. You let me be. You make me me. I'm the one for you. I'm your 2. You're the one for me. You're my 3. I love the way you do things, and I love the way you don't. Hey, thanks very much.
Thanks very, very, very much for coming. Very much for coming. Very much for coming. Hey, cheers. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.